That's what Josh Reeve says, general manager, and Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod, who's the chef. I'm going to call you that all morning long. You okay with that?
Yeah, I love it.
Nice to have you here.
Good to be here.
Fondue, there was a Lowland fondue in Connecticut, and you said, we're going to fix that.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I went to the melting pot that was in Darien for a very long time.
Yeah.
I would go there for all of my birthdays, along with my sisters as well. When we found out that it was closing down, we knew that we had to bring it back.
Right.
That was about 2 years ago, and now we just finished our first weekend open. Did really, really well, made a lot of people happy that we're missing the Darien location.
But you're not in Darien now. Where are you?
We're in New Haven
We're
now.
New Haven, right there in 10th Square, which, by the way, next to 9th Square, for those of you keeping square at home. We're going to talk more about that in a second. Chef, what's the secret to a good fondue?
I think a lot of love and passion.
And when you love, is that translated into good cheese, or
Yes.
you really just got to feel
feel
the
it.
love?
You have to feel the love.
Go to work. You've got a pot here at a medium high or high? What are we talking here?
It's a medium high.
Okay, go for it.
You want the water to be pretty hot in the pot, just so that we can get the cheese melted quickly.
And I love this setup because you do have water underneath that thing, and then but you're adding the oil, and the oil's going to bubble thanks to.
So we're adding a beer base actually. So that's Sam Adams beer, Boston Lager.
Well, I'm glad you told me that now. I would have probably drank it during the commercial break otherwise. Go ahead. What are we adding to it?
And now we're adding some garlic into the beer base. We're going to whisk that up a little bit. After that, we're going to add a little bit of our mustard powder.
And you can do this at home. There are lots of fondue sets, and it's easy. Is there a trick to the water or the beer or whatever?
Not necessarily. It is very easy to do it at home. The thing that you really got to make sure that you're doing is adding the right amount of cornstarch to the cheese, because that makes the consistency perfect.
That's a good point. You just put that in. All right, now it's time to cheese us up.
Now it's cheese time. So it's important to add the cheese a little bit at a time. Okay,
Right.
so we're going to put a little bit, like we're putting a third in.
Why do that? Why not just dump it all in?
Because then it won't melt properly. The consistency won't be correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
we're going to add a third of the cheese here. And as that's going on, I can talk a little bit about these dippers that we offer.
So you've got 3 different kinds. It's not just cheese, because as we take a look at the rest of the panel here, you've got stuff that I think would go with cheese. Certainly when you've got your vegetables and your bread and all that stuff. But then the second platter, as you go down the line, you've got your meats. You're not just going to dip those in raw seafood and shrimp in the cheese.
No.
Although you could. It wouldn't be necessarily very good. What do you have that?
Yeah, so I'll tell you about, so we offer a 4-course experience, okay? So we start with the cheese fondue. If you look here, we have 2 types of bread. We have pretzel bread, baguette, and then in the middle we have some apples and broccoli.
General stuff for fondue.
Yeah, great stuff to go in our cheese fondue.
Right.
The second course is a salad course, which isn't, we didn't bring any salad, but it's pretty self-explanatory.
Well, you know why? Because we don't do salad around
we
here,
don't eat that
Josh.
rabbit food.
Salad? What's that? All right, keep going.
I'll go on. So our third course is going to be our entree fondue. So that is all the different types of meat. We do offer a vegan option, but I'll tell you about some of the stuff we got. So you're going to be cooking the meat in one of our 3 broths, or oil, or our grill.
Which adds to the fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And finish off with, you got some dessert as well.
And then over here we have our chocolate dipper. So you'd have a bowl of melted chocolate. We have pound cake, waffles, strawberries, bananas, Rice Krispies, all the good stuff.
And just so you know, while he was giving you the spiel on the 4-course meal, let's go back to Chef A-Rod here, and the 3rd batch of cheese has gone in, and you've got, lo and behold, a nice little fondue. I would say that takes a lot of practice, but I think you just did that so easily, right?
It is pretty easy. Like I said, love.
So if I love, now that's love you supply, because other than that, I mean, you go to the melting pot, you're doing all this yourself. What's your contribution to the joint then?
Well,
it's the love.
It is.
It is the love.
And the positivity.
Absolutely.
Always.
Talk about you already had a slow opening, but you're opening up in full force now.
Yeah. So come May 16th, that is when we will open. Definitely. A lot more for the public.
Right.
We're going to do a couple of finishing ingredients on this cheese just to start off.
You got 15 seconds.
We're going to do Worcestershire, and some black pepper, and then add that in, and then tell us what you think.
I'm going to go in. Don't mind the whisk here.
Go ahead.
And I know it's hot, so I'm going to blow. Josh Reese and Chef A-Rod, thanks for coming in.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's gooey.